Today we'll be taking a look at LG's EasyClean and some troubleshooting tips you can do to get EasyClean to work for you. EasyClean is at its best when used to clean light soils right after the spill happens. But for many of us, we don't always have time to clean our oven, and we let it sit there and continue to bake on after we keep on cooking. So let's look at how to use EasyClean when something is really stuck on. I'm actually going to dirty the oven with two different soils and show you the differences in how EasyClean performs between these two soils. First off, before cleaning your oven, do not use commercial oven cleaners of any kind. These cleaners can break down the enamel and cause it to chip, and they can even stain the enamel just after their first use. So what EasyClean is it's an additional option to assist you in cleaning your oven. An EasyClean cycle does not work like a self-clean. A self-clean will run your oven for hours and burn your soils to ash. EasyClean is a 10 to 20 minute cycle where the soils are submerged in water and heated to anywhere from 150 to 170 degrees and penetrate the soils, making them easier to scrub off manually without cleaners. EasyClean works best on light to medium soils, and it's something that you want to do after any spill. Some foods are going to be harder to clean, like a pie filling or a sauce with high sugar content would be considered a heavy soil, and that's going to be a lot harder to remove with EasyClean or anything that you continuously bake on. You want to make sure that you clean your oven like you're cleaning your dishes, and you would just do it as soon as it cools down anytime that you spill something in the oven. So let's try it out. Before doing an EasyClean or self-clean, make sure to remove all the oven racks. If you leave them inside, it can lead to chipping the oven interior around them and tint the racks blue. So here I have some apple pie filling that I'm going to put on one side of the oven, and on the other I have some pizza sauce and some cheese. Both of these are supposed to simulate common items that might actually spill over in your oven. I'm going to set the oven to 400 degrees and bake on the soils for 25 to 30 minutes so they're similar to what you might see at home. I'll let the oven cool down, and after that, I'll come and see how they look. Okay, so it's been about an hour afterwards, and these look really baked into the enamel, so I'm going to attempt to remove these by doing the EasyClean process. What you'll need is a water bottle or even a drinking glass, a plastic paint scraper, and sponge. Some or all these items may have come with your oven depending on the model. I'm also going to have some rags and a bucket and some paper towels. I'll start by using the plastic scraper and try to scrape off anything I can first, and then I'll vacuum all this crusty stuff out. Next, I'm going to spray water in the oven cavity and the side walls. The LG oven cavity has a rectangular divot at the bottom, and this is actually designed to be filled with water for EasyClean. What I'm going to do is fill this up a couple times. I'm using more water than usual because the pie filling is clumped, and it's about a 1/4 inch high, so to get it submerged, I'm having to fill up the bottom more than usual. In most cases, you wouldn't need this much water. You just want to use enough to completely submerge the soil. Avoid spraying water on the door or on the back heating element. Water sprayed on the door is likely going to leak out and onto the floor. I'll show you how to clean the door and the glass later. Now I'm going to run an EasyClean cycle. The EasyClean cycle just finished. I'm going to put on some gloves and get to work scraping. I want to keep the soil submerged while doing this. I have better success this way. It's coming off really well on the pizza sauce, but the pie filling is still pretty solid, so I'm going to run another EasyClean cycle. The second cycle just finished, so I'm going to take another shot at the pie stains using the scraper. You can see this is working much better the second time around. It's really starting to come off, even though it is probably hard to see in the video with all this grimy water. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rags and bucket and remove all this water. But before that, it's going to be a lot easier if I remove the oven door. So removing an oven door is super simple. It has 2 locks on each side, so you just need to have the door all the way down and pull up the lock. These ones are pretty tight. I can usually do it with my fingers, so I'm just going to take a flathead screwdriver and kind of just pull it up. You just pull that one back, then I'm going to pull the other side back. Same thing, it's a little stiff, so I'm going to just use a flathead screwdriver, pull that up, lift the oven to about a 45-degree angle, and it'll start to wiggle a little bit, and then you want to close it almost all the way and lift up, and it's going to pop right out. Set the oven door down on something soft like a blanket to prevent scratching the door. I put a towel underneath the door to catch any water that might spill between the cavity and the door while I'm cleaning it. So now I'm going to remove the water using the rags in the bucket. Now that the water is all gone, I can get a clear picture of how EasyClean did. The pizza stain is completely removed, but I do have these 2 small stubborn spots from the pie stain. So what you can do for stubborn stains is make a baking soda paste with water. I followed the manufacturer's recommendation and how to make this paste, and I'm just going to put a little bit on these stains and let it sit. If I had any problems with stains or soils on the walls, I would use this paste too. Baking soda can be really messy and leave a white residue that's difficult to remove, so I like to use it sparingly and only when needed. I let the baking soda sit for about 20 minutes, and now I'm just going to scrape it off. That worked really well and completely removed the stains. I'll just take some water to wipe away the paste and then get started on the oven door. Line up the 2 oven latches in the door and have the door at a slightly closed angle and gently set it to 45 degrees. You should feel it hooking. Then pull the door down and re-secure the hinge locks. I'm going to use a mixture of hot water and dish soap to clean the glass. This worked for me for cleaning the oven door, and I would try this first. If this doesn't work for you, I would try the baking soda paste from earlier, and then I would just follow that up with some dish soap to remove any streaks. If EasyClean isn't working for you, try to run a self-clean. If you do not have that option, you can remove your racks and set your oven to bake at 450 degrees for about an hour, and once cooled, use a scraper to try to remove the burned soils.